making a game of it in the second quarter after they are outscored 28-11 by Tim Duncan and the Spurs in the first quarter. They outscored the Spurs 26-22 in the second quarter. In fact, the Clips, we talked about those numbers for Tim Duncan. Great numbers across the board. Alvin Gentry has really helped to turn around this franchise, who was going to be an assistant for the Clippers this year, don't forget, until he was named the head coach. He was going to be an assistant for the Spurs, rather, until he was named the head coach of the Clippers. 15-15 since the 1st of February, 28 wins. They had 15 all of last year. Don't forget, who would have believed at the start of the year, with the way Cleveland began the season, that the Clippers would finish with more wins than the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. Clips with 28, Cavaliers with 26.
Well, Joe, you wouldn't, but I agree. You have to give Alvin Gentry credit for bringing this ball club along, even with the injuries that they've had.
Best home record since the 1st of February. Top two teams, Spurs and Clippers. Spurs on top in just about every category when you look at it over the last 2 months. With the way they have played and responded down the stretch, Ottawa Candy, not much of a factor. Picked up a couple of early fouls as Maggette well short. Maggette had a dozen boards in the first half, but only 2 points. Ottawa Candy, though, was shut out in 12 minutes. Danny Ferry tried to keep it alive, but instead picks up the loose ball foul.
David was wide open. Ottawa Candy didn't cover him. He had the shot. He took it. He was just short.
Second foul on Danny Ferry is the first foul of the second half. So will it be the 14th straight win for the Spurs over the LA Clippers? Clippers have beaten a lot of teams that have better than 500 records this year, as David boxed out perfectly. Something they couldn't accomplish that last year. Beating quality teams they've done this year. Pick and roll. Tim, the recipient from Derek Anderson. David tried to get it. Piatkowski comes up with it. Darius Miles. The young man who they're comparing to McGarnett numbers-wise. He's averaging 9.5 a game, 6 boards, and a block and a half in 26 minutes per game. As Derek Anderson spins neatly past Piatkowski.
Well, he drove Piatkowski, looked at his teammates. Nobody helped. He was strictly one-on-one. You know, Joe, you talk about Miles. He has the body that in a couple of years he is going to fill out. He has the frame that will allow him to put on 10 to 15 pounds with no problem.
Ottawa Candy knocking down David. Looking at three and getting it, Jeff McInnes. So Jeff McInnes, who averages 12.5 and 5 assists, comes up with the three-pointer, and all of a sudden only a 10-point ball game.
Here again, it's a one-on-one situation, 10 feet away from the basket.
Tim Duncan didn't get the roll that time. David went after it, but the little guy got it. Jeff McInnes again, former Tar Heel, setting up Darius Miles, who lost the handle. Derek Anderson has it. Running the floor, Tim Duncan. What a pass back to Derek Anderson. Tim Duncan with the assist. We've talked about the passing to the 7-footer, the way he runs the floor.
Well, as I say, Joe, he's a power forward slash point guard. He really feeds the ball.
How many big guys get it back to you that quickly?
Very few. Very few. He may be the only one in the league that can do it that effectively without stumbling and charging. And the thing about the pass, it was right where Derek Anderson needed it to finish the play.
And then we have the antithesis of that at the opposite end, where Miles thought Piatkowski was going to stay at home. It was in those expensive seats on the floor here, though. Lead is 12. David held by Miles. Give Terry Porter credit, too, on the little rub that Terry Porter got away with there, as he was just trying to cut through. Super ball movement, though, on the break.
You see Derek Anderson is looking, he's checking, he knows, and the ball goes right back to Tim Duncan, as Tim Duncan knows where Derek Anderson is. That's open.
Miles gets his third. David Robinson gets the free throw for his 14th point. What we talked about, we're watching 2 of the top 3 teams shot blocking in the league. Spurs have 2 in the top 10. David Robinson and Tim Duncan. And David with a couple of free throws expands the lead for the Spurs up to 14 points off a turnover for the Spurs tonight. After the giveaway by Darius Miles at the opposite end. Piatkowski really working hard. Terry Porter did a good job at Piatkowski. He's not Elgin Miller. You can see he hung there.
You know, he works well without the ball. He works hard to get open. The ball is not always where it should be.
Jeff McInnes. Tim Duncan back from Terry Porter. Jeff McInnes, you've got two aspirin. I'll send them down your way right now.
That was a big
Wow.
lead pick. That was a bone crusher. And here it comes. This is good, solid contact right there. Not a moving screen, a good basketball pick.
Tim Duncan to the free throw line after the foul by Jeff McInnes.
If young kids watching, Joe, will just study what Tim Duncan does. Study how he plays, study his speed. They will learn a lot, but just by watching the game.
Well, the coaches have been talking about the Barkley type of thing. Wait till the guy comes and doubles you, shows some patience, and then you can do almost anything you want. And I'll tell you something, Tim Duncan has over the last couple of months.
He's the kind of guy that makes his teammates better, as does David, as does Avery and Terry Porter.
Jim all over Darius Miles. Piatkowski, little space, and Tim Duncan has his double-double now. It's official with his 10th rebound. 19 and 10 on the board for Tim Duncan. Popping out. Wanted to go high-low with David. And a 3-second violation on the Admiral.
You know, Joe, we talked about Tim Duncan running under control. When you look at the entire team, for the most part, they all, Spurs, all are under control when they're running the break.
Well, I've talked about it before. It's not too long till we'll see a triple-double for Tim Duncan. He's got 19 and 10, 5 assists. I'd let him run the point tonight if it got out of hand. Getty had it knocked away. Barry's got the foul, or will it be on Terry Porter? It'll be on Terry Porter.
You know, Joe, there might be a point somewhere down the road where there is tremendous pressure, particularly in the playoffs, where Tim Duncan does come out and become the point guard. But who's going to guard him? What big man would guard him out there?
He'll go right around him, the way he can put it to the floor. Only 7 on the shot clock. McInnes. And he's stuffed by Terry Porter. Miles trying to save it. Shot clock gone. Terry Porter didn't like his 3rd foul, so he took it out.
But that was a good block.
With a great defensive block.
Terry did a great job defensively. McInnes shouldn't complain, and I don't think he's complaining very much. It really was a good block. Minimal contact.
Terry Porter running the show. Avery Johnson was in there in the 2nd quarter. Terry for the most part of the 1st quarter when the Spurs spurted out to that 28-11 lead. Tim Duncan with the left hand. David Robinson waiting. David couldn't handle it after he got it right back. Spurs get back in the transition. Clippers only 32% from the field. 18 of 56. Olowokandi. And McInnes. David makes it 1 and done. With the way Olowokandi was holding it out there, you would have thought he was up by 20. Porter trying to leave it off for David, who's looking for the shot and the rebound. So another turnover, and Avery is ready to check in.
This is the point in the game. 57-42, 7 minutes left in the 3rd. This is when you want to try to apply the knockout punch if you can. It's a 15-point game. But for the most part, the Clippers are just kind of hanging right there at 13, 14, 15. And that's dangerous because if they catch fire and you start to get pulled, it could change things quickly.
Spurs have shut him out points off turnovers. And now Olowokandi picks up his 3rd, charging into David Robinson. So they didn't capitalize that time on another turnover.
But, you know, I think this is what happened to Milwaukee last night. They dropped their guard, their mental guard a little bit, and the Clippers kept playing. And sometimes you can't stop a team when they get momentum.
Yeah, I think the guy on the bench has a lot to do with that though.
I think
they don't drop their guard because Greg Popovich won't allow them to. And the one thing I really like about Pop is the way he'll go to a quick timeout. He doesn't wait for TV timeouts. Tim Duncan and David Robinson, a 2-man game. Shot clock down on Derek Anderson. Tim Duncan free on the elbow. David keeping it alive for himself. David rolls it home. So Spurs just doing what they want right now by 17.
We talked in the opening about Duncan moving without the ball, and that was another case of being wide open. He screened and popped to the open area, and the ball was right where it should have been.
17 points now for the Admiral to go along with 6 boards. He can potentially have a double-double as well. He stays on the floor that long. 18 minutes so far tonight after 20 minutes in Denver a couple of nights ago. 7 left and counting, including tonight's matchup. Tomorrow night at Golden State. Join us again right here on UPN2. Rooks. And will we get a foul inside on a hold on Danny Ferry? Yes.
Tim Duncan took a risk. He flew at the shooter at the top of the key, knowing full well he left the baseline open.
Danny Ferry helping out, helped defense downstairs, got called for the hold. But for the most part, everything going the Spurs' way. Despite the last whistle, they lead it by 17.
Hi, you must be Tammy's blind date. I'm Spike, her twin brother, twin brother, twin brother, twin brother, twin brother. Tammy, your date's here. Hey, can I offer you a Bud Light?
Sure.
Here you go.
Hi.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You smell good.
You remember Jared from Subway? Turns out he's inspired a lot of people.
Still looking good to show you the way. His name is Jared, and he'll lead you to Subway. That's where it goes, along with the rest. For 7 sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less.
What an inspiration. Subway. Eat fresh.
Just look around and you'll get the message. Ford is the best in Texas.
The message is clear. Texans' favorite tough truck is Ford F-150 with more power and the most available torque in its class. Plus, choose 0-9 financing or $1,500 cash back on F-150. Seems a Consumer's Digest Best Buy only confirms what Texans have known all along.
Ford is the best in Texas.
Halfway through the third quarter, the Spurs lead by 17. Well, you're ready for another bobblehead night. I know I am. Bobblehead night again for the Spurs, sponsored by Body Solutions. This time, Tim Duncan bobblehead night. Got it. I feel warm all over looking at the bobblehead. I don't know about you. And all fans through the doors. Opportunity to pick up 3,000 bobbleheads. John, you can't keep it. I'm sorry. They are so valuable right now. The David Robinson bobbleheads are collector's items. You know that. So join us. By the way, you can get a heads up, an early start, and sign up for a bobblehead inside the huddle at Spurs.com. That'll be the April 10th game against Dallas Tuesday night. Piatkowski, men flying out, still got it away. That was maybe his toughest shot of the night. Back to a 15-point ball game. Piatkowski with 7, but only 3 of 10. He started out 1 of 9 last night. Danny Ferry, first look from 3. Danny Ferry.
It's his first
Number 1 in the NBA in three-point field goal percentage.
First 2 for the night, Joe.
First look. First time he has taken a shot. Here's a guy. He defines the term letting the game come to him. He never forces it. Piatkowski on the run, and Derek Anderson is making him work for everything he gets. And he gets another. Cleared out a little bit. At least that's the way Derek felt. Coming down with it. Spurs still by 16. After the 3 by Danny Ferry. Avery, after the double came over, can't burn him. Tim Duncan keeps it alive for David Robinson. And David draws the contact. Give Tim Duncan an assist, though. What doesn't he do? Tim tipped it. He knew where David was.
You know, he keeps it alive and he stays under control when he comes down.
Look at the direction.
Tip the ball directly to David. Chance for a 2-point play. You know, it looks like, Joe, in this game that the Spurs have thoroughly dominated, but it's only a 16-point game. It looks like it's under control, but there's plenty of time left here.
And they'll get another look at the offensive end after the miss by David Robinson. They're beating them with a punch every time. Third quarter, just like the first quarter for the Spurs. They led 28-11 after the first 12. Avery, if you want to lead me, I'll burn you. And they did. Boy, the sea parted for Avery Johnson.
Avery's got a great hesitation move. The defender wasn't there because he was screened, and Avery was wide open.
First of a back-to-back set for the Spurs. As another Arizona Wildcat. We've got our limit on Wildcats in one building, don't we? Sean Rooks hits it. Sean Elliott ready to come in. Steve Kerr, another Wildcat down the bench. Final 4 minutes. Taking it to Strong, and Strong batted it away. Piatkowski has it. So Derek Strong created the turnover. Spurs still by 17. Strong inside. Out on Danny Ferry. It prevented an easy deuce by Derek Strong. So Ferry will sit down with his 4th. Sean Elliott will check in, giving us grief on the sideline, talking about those Arizona Wildcats. The Ninja made a pretty play on the angle on the left side as Sean Elliott comes back into the game. He had a couple of buckets in the first half, 2 of 3 in 10 minutes of play. But the move he made against, I believe it was McGetty who was trying to guard him, and then he banked it about 15 feet away off the window. And Strong gets the first of 2. I don't think there's any doubt that Sean Elliott is just about back, as that is the first point off a turnover for the Clippers tonight, and it comes from Derek Strong.
It's good to see Sean, Avery, Malik Rose, players who were injured, getting back into the flow and getting enough time to get their game conditioning to the point where it's ready for the playoffs.
They double the ball. Spurs have just killed people when they have doubled the ball. They've had the super movement and the quick looks. David running. How about the touch pass by the Admiral? Tim, keep it up. Now it's Sean Elliott. And a fresh 24 in the shot clock. They can't match up down to the baseline with the 2 big guys.
Well, this is one of the keys. The Spurs talked about getting offensive rebounds and scoring off of those rebounds.
Avery, double dribble, he brought it up. If anything, maybe he found the basketball. But I don't think he brought a second hand up to it. A turnover for the Spurs.
Well, he did lose it right there. That's when they got him.
So the Spurs have turned it over now 8 times. Only 2 points off the first 7. HEB hustle numbers. Rooks not ready for the interior pass. Sean Elliott on the break, and it was deflected by Piatkowski. Sean may have given it up a little bit early there as the Spurs will get a timeout, leading by 15.
So he did. Sean gave it up too early, saw the open man. If he holds on to it one more dribble and the defender comes to him, then Derek is wide open.
Spurs still in the driver's seat, though, by 15.
He's at the mound. And here's the pitch.
Crunchy and soft come together at Taco Bell with the double-decker taco. It's the crunchy taco you love, wrapped inside a soft garlic tortilla. And now it's just 79 cents. Wow!
Jimmy? Thought you were gonna clean your room.
Yeah, right.
Jimmy! Grandma Nana's on the phone.
She's your mother.
Jimmy? Are you gonna do your homework?
What for?
Can you put away the dishes?
No hablo inglés.
Can you please take out the trash?
Talk to the hand, cause Jimmy ain't listening.
Page 456, Military Schools. Another problem solved, courtesy of the Southwestern Bell Yellow Pages.
Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State.
Texan families love Ford Windstar. It's carried them in 5-star safety for 6 years running. New with a personal safety system and mirrors that flash when the sliding doors open. Now get 0-9 financing or $2,000 cash back. Test drive Windstar at your Texas Ford dealer. When it comes to safety, Windstar's a real love machine.
Ford is the best in Texas.
Grab KFC's Family Mega Meal. Get 15 pieces of original recipe or extra crispy chicken for just $9.99. Plus, for only $6.99 more, add 2 large mashed potatoes, 2 large side items of your choice, and 8 biscuits. Now that's a mega meal at a mega deal.
Spurs trying to make it a clean sweep of the season series with the LA Clippers. Trying to make it 4-0, lead by 15. And we remind you the Spurs Craft and HEB are sending you to the playoffs. It's Craft, playoffs, payoff. One winner every week from each participating San Antonio HEB. And to qualify, all you have to do is sign up at Kraft Mayo and Miracle Whip display at your HEB deli before April 17th. Go Miracle Whip, go Kraft Mayo, and especially go Spurs. Spurs have it. 3 minutes to play on the pick and roll. David Robinson right to the rack on the reverse. Derek Anderson looking for him and delivering after he got both men to bite.
It's another great play by Pop out of the timeout. He was upset because they didn't handle the break well, and he comes right back out of the timeout with a play for David, pick and roll, and 2 free throws.
And David Robinson looking for 19 and 20. How about 19? He's got 18. Balance on the board for the Spurs tonight. 19 for Tim Duncan, 9 for Derek Anderson. Derek Anderson has taken only 6 shots tonight, and that's your second leading scorer. We talked about the unselfishness of this entire squad. You get those W's, and now the Spurs the season high 31, over 500. No complaints.
He has 6 shots. Danny Ferry only has 1, but Derek shooting 50% and Danny Ferry shooting 1,000%.
Ewing got away on the dribble penetration, drew the foul from David Robinson. The opportunity for the 3-point play. It is quick.
It was a great, that's right, the great drive to the basket. The defense did not get there quickly enough, and 2 free throws.
So Julian will left Mizzou after only his sophomore season. Looks for the 3-point play. In 13 minutes off the bench, 6 so far.
Had some big games, Joe, at Mizzou. Some games in the Big 12 where he was really effective.
Their starters have let him down. He's long on the free throw. The rebound also long as Malik Rose comes in. First time in the second half. So fresh shot clock. Dueling. And they're going to call a hold on Malik Rose. Brooks was trying to set up down low. So another opportunity for points without the clock moving. It'll be Sean Rooks this time. Rooks played here with the Lakers.
You know, Joe, we saw watching a game last night between the Lakers and the Celtics, and the Lakers were up by 20 plus, and it looked like it was a walk. However, Boston kept playing. They made their threes. They began to press, and with less than a minute to go, it's a 1-point game.
Boston did bounce back tonight. Good to see as Rooks gets 1 and 2. Boston beat Washington on the road 102-100. For that 8th and final playoff spot, they are battling with the Indiana Pacers. Pacers have the edge by a game. Sean Elliott working against Piatkowski. Going inside on the drop step, and Sean Elliott. Sweet. 15-point lead. Is he feeling okay, though, the way he's bouncing? Yes. Bit of a grimace on his face. Just hold your breath sometimes with Sean. Will 70 and Joe Gutzweiler doing a great job for the trainers for the Spurs. Keeping David in there. Sean Elliott as well. And it's knocked out of bounds by Rooks. But they're going to say it was last touch by the Spurs. Okay, Greg Popovich saying to the third official in front of us, you're not even in the play. You were headed the other way. So the Clippers get a break with 1:54 to play in the half. Second chance opportunity. McGinnis popping it up in a hurry. And off the little rub, Jeff McGinnis burns the Spurs. It's back at 13.
You're right, Joe. And Avery went underneath, and McGinnis saw that reaction by Avery and had the open shot and took it.
Tim Duncan, not many touches so far in the quarter. He's had to manufacture on his own. Avery got away from Piatkowski, and guess who's got the assist, his 6th. And I'd love to see a triple-double. Make a statement for the MVP voters around the league. 19, 13, and 6 now for Tim Duncan. 4 assists away from a triple-double. Strong had it deflected by Rose. And he'll go to the free throw line. So super look at the previous possession again. Tim Duncan delivering.
He doesn't rush, Joe. He's looking right at the defense, and he sees a mistake by Piatkowski, who thought Avery was leaving the lane, and Avery's wide open on a great feed.
Rewards a teammate who's moving and working, really working without the basketball.
So that the next time Avery's down in there, he's going to keep working, and that's what happens when you have good passers like Tim Duncan, Avery, Terry Porter, Derek Anderson.
Big win tonight for guys you know pretty well. Phoenix Suns won on the road at Cleveland 102-98 after the loss at Minnesota. Phoenix needed it. It's their 47th win of the year with 29 losses. 1 of 2 at the stripe for Strong. And the Spurs are still up by 14. They're led by 13 at the break. Sean Elliott wanted to post up Maggette. Instead pops out for the pass. They call Sean's number. It'll be from the outside of the inside. And of course, the shot clock down. Derek Strong. Jeff McGinnis. Quiet. And gets it. So Jeff McGinnis trying to become the catalyst, and he's done it before for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Here's another situation. He just drives the ball into the game. It's one-on-one. There is no help on for Avery, and he stumbled, lost control, but made it.
3-point play for McGinnis. He's got 13. They're going with 4 boards, but there's your lead guard. He's only got 1 assist for the game, Jeff McGinnis. He had a triple-double just a few weeks back, his first of his career against Golden State, 21, 12, and 11. Sam wanted to go backdoor. Avery went in once more against Rooks. And the double travel on Tim Duncan. So the final shot of the quarter is going to belong to the resurgent LA Clippers as they can cut the deficit to a single-digit one.
Well, Joe, they are not going to go away. They're going to stay here and finish this game and take it all the way to the wire. And we've seen that. We saw that the other night against Milwaukee.
It's the team that's had 12 overtime games. An overtime affair with Milwaukee last night. That's only 2 off the all-time NBA record held by the 76ers a decade ago. McGinnis usually calls his own number. Got it inside. Great look. Avery will get it off in time, yes, but it won't be close. And for the first time in a long time, it is not a double-digit lead for the San Antonio Spurs, a +4 in the quarter for the Clippers after it looked like when the Spurs bounced back up by 17 with about 4 minutes left in the third, they were going to run away and hide. That's not to be the case. Hang on. Should be interesting. The final 12 on UPN2. The Spurs lead by 9.
I'll be right out. Let me just put this Bud Light away. Hey, Otto. Come on.
Honey, where's Otto? Otto? Otto?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
It's fun coaching these little guys. We get together once a week, we run some drills, we talk a little strategy. They really work hard at practice. Come game day, they start out on fire. Halftime comes and they start getting a little hungry, a little unfocused. When that final whistle blows, we go straight to Whataburger.
No matter what size your appetite, you can enjoy our chicken strip Whata meals with your choice of 2 or 3 strips of chicken.
With these kids, it's not whether they win or lose, it's where they eat after the game.
Chicken strips at Whataburger, just like you like it.
Morning. Johnson? Say, I noticed you got the last donut.
Welcome back once again to Los Angeles for the final 12 minutes of regulation. And I bring up regulation because the LA Clippers lead the league in overtime affairs with 12, and also in tied affairs. Our Diamond Shamrock third quarter recap. Spurs hit only 44% compared to the Clips 56%. As the Clippers finished over the final 4 minutes with a 15-5 run. Combined numbers overall from David and Tim very strong, but they're going to need some stops at the defensive end. They had the Clippers down to 31% early in the quarter. They finished the quarter for the game at 38.5% compared to 48% for the Spurs. Clips are used to close games. They have had 13 games decided by 3 or less. They're 5-8 in those 13. Spurs have been involved in 9 games, 3 or less. They are 3-6. So here we go with the start of the 4th. Spurs with it, leading by 9. Tim Duncan on the high pick and roll. Duncan really bottled up by Rooks. Tons of contact downstairs. Tim working against Sean Rooks. Got him into the air for the easy finger roll. Tim Duncan coming through.
And again,
he's got 21.
Great play by Pop. And again, Joe, one-on-one coverage by the Clippers on Tim Duncan.
Tim 8 of 16 for the field after starting 1 of 5 tonight. Not that many offensive touches, though, for Tim. He was really unselfish. He was looking for his teammates. Clippers have made their last 7 as McGinney hits it inside. And he's clipped on his way up.
Well, I think Malik would wish, if he had it to do over again, that he would have stayed down and not gone for the shot fake. So he really bites on this shot.
He had the left hand pulling down Maggette. Right hand blocked it cleanly. With the left hand, he was climbing the ladder on Maggette's shoulder as Maggette gets the first. Maggette in the starting lineup tonight. Only his 3rd point of the game because of the injury to Lamar Odom. He did not suit up this evening, their leading scorer and rebounder. Back to a 9-point ball game. Malik Rose wanted to get it to Derek Anderson as he was trying to run through. Tim Duncan right over Sean Rooks. Malik Rose, second chance opportunity, fouled by Derek Strong. And that's what has kept Malik Rose in a prominent position in this league for 5 years.
Joe,
second chance looks.
That's right. And that's the kind of thing that really will help the Spurs in the playoffs. And here's a situation you see he reads that offensive board and is able to put it back. Didn't get the shot, but he has 2 free throws.
Malik has not tried a shot tonight. That's his first attempt at the free throw line. He's got 4 boards.
But if you get behind in a ball game and you're making a rally, you must, to sustain that rally, you must be able to offensive rebound and get your misses back.
Now Malik capitalize on the second. Tough break. Tim Duncan keeps it alive, won't quit. Tim Duncan again. 3rd time's the charm. An amazing effort by Duncan. 23 on the board.
Well, these are the intangibles, Joe, you were talking about before the game. That doesn't fit in the stat column.
Outworking the younger LA Clippers. Maggette and Duncan may have gotten a piece of it as Rooks is fouled on the floor by Malik Rose. Going to be on the side. Rooks thinks he's getting free throws. It was before he went up.
And we see Duncan just stays with this play. He just pursues it and is persistent.
Shot clock down. McGinnis. Tough one. Will Maggette get it away in time? Yes. Beats the buzzer. You can hear it in the background.
Joe, these are the things that happen when you start to make your run. Making threes when the shot clock is going down, having a steal, making your free throws.
Tim Duncan asking for it once again. They run off Tim. Going to be Sean Elliott. Right by Maggette. Deflected away from Malik Rose. Spurs will have with only 2 left on the shot clock as they look for the extra pass. So who will the option be? Will it be Tim Duncan holding it up over Rooks?
Well, you would think he wouldn't have a chance to make something here, but they get a great look at it with 2 seconds.
And Duncan does it again. Tim Duncan on the step back. About a 16-foot fall away. Clutch. Spurs by 11. You almost feel like you could put a run on the young Clippers. You could take them out of it as McGinnis answers at the opposite end. So Sean came over a little bit too late as McGinnis wanted to post up the smaller Avery Johnson. That's 15 for Jeff McGinnis.
You know, Joe, in that previous play with 2 seconds, Sean Rooks knew what to do. He just couldn't quite get there quickly enough.
Tim Duncan strong to the rack with the left hand this time. Just try to slow the guy down.
And it was a great play call. They opened the side, emptied that one side, and Duncan took him hard with the left hand and no help.
I guess they figured he can't go to his weak side. Sure. Tim Duncan with 27 and 15. Maggette, a difficult look on the line for a deuce. Can't lose these guys.
Corey is a streaker. Early on in the game, his shots were all over the place, and now they're right on target.
Yeah, he's only still 2 for 9, but he has got a couple of free throws that have been big. Tim Duncan got away from Brooks, gets a foul, gets a bucket, and he's taken over here at the Staples Center.
This is a great feed by Malik. Tim comes right into the low post, positions himself. Tim Duncan skips it in real low, and the play is completed. Big
Timeout.
play.
Be back after this from Southwest Airlines.
Flying to Dallas for business? If these 15 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines nonstop to Dallas, maybe this will. Fly 4 round trips anywhere Southwest flies and earn a free ticket when you book online at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey, check it out. A totally twisted way to eat pizza.
Yeah, new Twisted Crust pizza from Pizza Hut. It's breadsticks.
No, it's pizza.
It's both.
Look, go directly to the Twisted Crust and tear off a breadstick.
Dude, what planet are you from? You eat your pizza first and you save your breadsticks till the end.
No, it's breadsticks first, then the free marinara or ranch dipping sauce, then pizza.
You're twisted. Pizza first.
The new Twisted Crust pizza from Pizza Hut. Breadsticks and pizza together at last. Only $10.99 for a large.
I got one word for you. Breadsticks.
That's 2 words, Brainiac.
Another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
This season, Break Check and I have teamed up to help the Boys and Girls Club of San Antonio. For every 3-pointer the Spurs make, we'll donate $60. You can help by stopping by any Break Check location and making your pledge to support the Boys and Girls Club of San Antonio. While you're there, pick up your Go Spurs Go antenna ball, just a bucket ball. All proceeds will go to the Boys and Girls Club of San Antonio. Break Check and the Spurs, more than just fast breaks.
Break, check, breaks, stop anywhere.
You know, Major League Baseball, sometimes you see a guy play every position in the 9-inning game. I think Tim Duncan has played just about every position tonight for the San Antonio Spurs as they lead by 11. He has taken over and registered.
Joe, he just stays after this offensive rebound, and we see his versatility, his ability to drive it left as well as right and finish, and that was a finish.
So Tim Duncan has scored all 10 points for the Spurs in the 4th. He took, and I mentioned, he really didn't ask for it in the 3rd quarter. He took only 3 shots in the 3rd quarter. He is now 12 for 22 for the game, 29 points, 15 boards, 6 assists. And I meant it when I said it at the top of the show because he had those 4 assists in the 1st quarter. He's got 6 assists now. The guy has worked so hard. He deserves the triple-double.
Well, Joe, you know, when you talk about the fact that he didn't have many touches early, that's what Michael Jordan used to do. He used to start the game and play maybe the first 6 or 7 minutes, trying to get his teammates involved, and if he saw that nothing was happening, sometimes he'd jump in and take over. Duncan is doing basically the same thing, willing to give the ball up, to share the ball.
Misses his 3rd free throw of the night. He's 5 of 8 at the line. Dooling comes over. And a good move because David Robinson thought he had the block.
Well, he turned his back. Tim and David both turned their back on the driver, and Dooling was right there with him.
Close to 4 minutes gone, and Tim anticipated Derek Anderson running the back door. Gave it away for the Spurs. It is their 10th turnover. The previous 9 have only resulted in 4 points, though, for the Clippers. Spurs have outscored them there 13-4. Now, can they get a deuce from Dooling? For a 3. Maggette can't get it after the miss by Keon Dooling. Derek Anderson setting up Tim Duncan. Will it? He's grabbed by Jeff McGinnis. So Tim will go back to the free throw line. It prevented an easy bucket. Nice dribble penetration. Derek Anderson.
Joe, he was really under control. We talk about the Spurs players being under control. When he decided to drive it, he drove it quickly. The defense moved toward the driver, and Tim was wide open.
Now McGinnis tried to nail the guy to the floor, and he almost got it to go.
And you know, Joe, we've talked about this before. That's what happens when you penetrate. You attract defenders. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dribble. It could be a cut that's penetrating. That influences the defense.
7:46 left. An important free throw coming up for Tim Duncan. Trying to pick up his 30th point and his 11th in the quarter. He comes through once again. So 3 in a row. The trifecta at 30. 30 or more in the last 3 contests for Tim Duncan. Derek Strong. He had the hot hand in the first half. Tim Duncan got another rebound. How about a 20-29 for Tim Duncan? His 16th board.
That was great help defensively by the perimeter players of the Spurs. Everybody converted.
Tim Duncan on the rub. Avery Johnson thought about it. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Avery setting up David Robinson. Typical 16-footer. Derek Anderson follows, tries to keep up with it. Loose ball foul because Derek Anderson wouldn't quit on the play. And he's elevated his game.
Joel, the great thing about that is that David was on the glass and Sean Elliott and Avery Johnson were both back defensively. So if the shot was missed, they had great defensive balance. Now that's a veteran team.
Derek timed the first one perfectly on the weak side and kept it alive for the second time. 14 on the shot clock, 7-11 on the game clock. The Spurs will bring it back in. Now should there be 24 on the shot clock because it did touch the rim, and now they're going to put 22 because the shot did touch the rim after the putback by Derek Anderson, and they'll take 2 off. 2 left before the foul on Jeff McGinnis, and for McGinnis, his 3rd foul. So they try to get it straight on the shot clock. Spurs will have it, leading by 10. Another game where they've kept their opponent down at 40%, only 71 points. Derek Anderson and the Spurs don't get the call. Instead, it's a 5 count.
Well, it was a great defensive segment, great defensive sequence by the Clippers. They put the pressure on. Sean had no place to throw the ball. He was late in making the timeout call, and it was a violation.
David helping on the pick and roll. McGinnis. Olowokandi. Will he get the roll? Yes. Olowokandi's first basket of the game. Shut out over the previous 18 minutes. It's down to 8 for the final 7. Tim Duncan working against Olowokandi. Draws the contact. David Robinson brings it back out to start it over. Derek Anderson thought about it. Leaves it off. There's a foul on McGinnis, his 4th.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you what, as soon as that ball hit Derek Anderson's hands, he was gone on the baseline to attack the basket. McGinnis had no choice but to foul.
And Derek Anderson doesn't want to talk about it. Means a lot. He only spent a year here. His first 2 years were in Cleveland, but he was not the happiest of campers here in Clipperland. The joke was they had to de-Clipperize Derek when he got to the Spurs. Now he has just picked up that foul, the 4th on McGinnis, and for the next 6:37, the Spurs are shooting.
I'll tell you, he is a dandy. He has a great feel. He gives the ball up. He's as unselfish as David and Tim and Terry and Avery and all the rest, but he's not afraid to drive it, and he's not afraid to make a big jump shot to win the game.
Their leading scorer, Lamar Odom, looking on from the sideline. He's also their leading rebounder. Olowokandi lowered his shoulder. It should be a charge. Tim Duncan accepted it. Olowokandi telegraphs his moves, doesn't he?
Well, he does. Joe Olowokandi's upset about it, but you just can't turn around. We'll see it right here. You just can't turn around and throw your shoulder into the defender and think that the official, well, that's an obvious offensive charge.
So Olowokandi picks up his 4th, just like McGinnis. And the Spurs have it back. Now can they capitalize? Because it's just like a turnover, an empty trip.
That's right. He's improved and he's gotten better, but he hasn't improved in this area. He keeps making that same mistake. That's for Alvin Gentry, I'm sure, maddening.
Terry Porter back to Tim Duncan, trying to float it over to David Robinson. Good idea. Tim was trying to pick up the assist, thinking David would slam it home. A little bit too tall. But the notion, a very good one. Strong posting up Duncan. Leaving it off. How many seconds do they get? That's it.
Right.
They've been in there 5 or 6, so you knew with that extra pass, the officials couldn't bail them out.
That's exactly right. It's very frustrating.
So the Spurs will get it back on another Clipper turnover. They're up by 10. A little less than 6 to play.
1-minute MCI WorldCom prepaid phone card free when you buy 12 or more big, really juicy pieces of Church's chicken. 12 pieces with family mashed potatoes now just $7.99. 3 pieces in biscuit, $1.99. Church's, big pieces, little prices.
Tuna!
A tuna sandwich just isn't a tuna sandwich without the tangy zip of Miracle Whip.
A burger just isn't a burger without the tangy zip of Miracle Whip.
Spurs have the ball back after another turnover by the Clippers. Saladin in the paint forced the 3-second violation. Will register to meet Tim Duncan and win his authentic game-worn Spurs jersey, shorts, and shoes in the Win Tim's uniform promotion, sponsored by Diamond Shamrock and Sprite. Other great prizes, including 4 seats to a game in the Sprite Suite. So stop by any local Diamond Shamrock and register to win. As I say to Tim, after nights like this, just another average day at the office. 30-plus points again for Tim Duncan, right on 30 with 16 boards and 6 assists. He spoils us. There's no doubt about that. Might be the best power forward in the league.
There's a lot to like about his play, but I think the big key thing is his poise and his composure.
Got strong up into the air, put it to the floor for another dribble just to take it up in rhythm. You knew what he wanted to do. He's got 32. His season high, he just matched it in the last game, 36 against the Nuggets.
See what Oliver Condi does here in the low post. The Spurs wanted to play him one-on-one without helping.
David defending, and Tim on the weak side looking for that 20-20. He has 17 boards. He's already got 5 20-20s this year, 7 on his career. Back door, Derek Anderson shoving Sean or Jeff McGinnis, they say. Pushed off. 5:09 left. And Derek saying, okay, look at it. Just look at it next time because, you know, he almost took the number 1 off my jersey. You can see him grab the jersey. Just hope it pays off down the road. Not much road left in this one, though. 13 points in the 4th quarter for Tim Duncan. Spurs lead by 12. McGetty bombing away. Look out. The kid's got 11. The Clips, 3 of a dozen from three-point range. Spurs, number 1 in the league in three-point accuracy. They have not tried that many tonight. They're 3 of 6. Jerry Porter, as I say it, comes through with a huge one. And the Spurs are back up by 12. Offering McGinnis the baseline where the Admiral waits. McGetty, indecisive, forced his way in. Going to be fouled on Tim Duncan. Spaghetti to the stripe on the 3rd foul against Tim Duncan, and the 3rd team foul as well. So Corey Spaghetti, perfect at the line tonight. Shoots 2. He's got 5 of 5 at the free throw line after hitting the first. Spaghetti comes into the game averaging 9.5. 77% free throw shooter, 100% tonight. And it's back to a 10-point deficit for the Clippers.
Well, Derek did not object to that
Anderson
call.
with the charge.
He didn't object, Joe. He knew it was a charge. Derek Anderson has played 35 minutes and only has 6 attempts.
Empty trip for the Spurs. 4+ to play. McGetty tries to make it 7. And a break. He was on. Just a drop long. So they're now 3 of 13 from three-point land. Derek Anderson. Danny thought about it. David Robinson, tough catch, but he's grabbed. Caught on Strong to the free throw line. The Spurs back to the stripe where they've had 28 attempts compared to 17 for the Clippers. David, 5 of 9. Tim, 6 of 10. Those two have been hot in the stripe recently, so those numbers uncharacteristic as David gets the first of 2. Express News Friends and Family Night next Tuesday when the Spurs back home again against the Dallas Mavericks. Red hot Dallas Mavericks. For as low as $69, you get 4 club level tickets, food and drinks for 4 and a parking pass. Look at this weekend's Express News. Your friends, family coupon.
No, it's not only the San Antonio guards that can penetrate and kick off, it's their big men as well.
McGinnis didn't take any time, and Tim Duncan has his 18th rebound. So time running out of the Clippers. Spurs can take it close to the 3-minute mark on this possession if they choose. Tim Duncan, fronted by Rooks, gets it to the low bridge. David sent it a little bit low, and Terry almost came up with it, but instead it's the foul. Keon Dooling hitting the deck. As the Spurs now are out of fouls. That is their 4th team foul. Also, the 4th on Terry Porter.
Terry Porter saw the play coming. He just made the contact just enough to create the foul, but he saw that play.
That last trip, a huge possession for the Spurs, but they couldn't capitalize. McGinnis has been bombing away. Thought he'd set it up there. McGinnis gonna be doing it, looking. And Terry Porter timed it and tied up Derek Strong. Well, Terry Porter didn't quit on the play. Came back, got involved, and created the jump ball. We'll come right back for the final 2:48 after this from Diamond Shamrock.
There's got to be an easier way to get Tim's uniform.
There is. Just pick up an entry form at any Diamond Shamrock Corner store and Stop and Go location to register. You could win 4 seats in the Sprite Suite at a Spurs home game.
Or be the lucky fan who'll meet Tim Duncan and win his authentic game-worn uniform, including his jersey, shorts, and shoes.
So hop on down to Diamond Shamrock and register for Tim's uniform. No purchase necessary. See store for details.
It's fun coaching these little guys. We get together once a week, we run some drills, we talk a little strategy. They really work hard at practice. Come game day, they start out on fire. Halftime comes and they start getting a little hungry, a little unfocused. When that final whistle blows, we go straight to Whataburger.
No matter what size your appetite, you can enjoy our chicken strip Whatameals with your choice of 2 or 3 strips of chicken.
With these kids, it's not whether they win or lose, it's where they eat after the game.
Chicken strips at Whataburger, just like you like it.
With the reading month of March in full swing, the NBA and its players have hit the books.
All right, today, class, the book is little too.
They want young people to understand that reading is an invitation to new and interesting worlds.
Clifford got the biggest medal of all.
So pick up a book and take a look. You might just like what you see.
His father, Big Two. Y'all know this better than I do.
Reading is fundamental.
Final 3 minutes at the Staples Center with the Spurs up by 11. And John, we look back on what you thought were the keys, our forward outlook tonight.
Well, they did control the fast break for the most part. They controlled Oliver Condi in the low post, and they didn't have to go down and double. And San Antonio did have 11 offensive rebounds, and they wanted to score off their offensive shots, and they did tonight. So they were able to successfully execute the keys going into the game.
And they've taken over on the glass where they were down by 3 at the break, 27-24. They're up now 42-16 in rebounding as Derek Strong is going to be jumping with Terry Porter. Terry tied him up after the miss.
San Antonio pursues the ball. They go after the rebound.
Clippers running out of time. Three-point shooting has let him down tonight. Strong has hit that shot all night and barely draws the rim as Danny Ferry has the rebound. Thought about it, but why go in the transition when you're up by double digits?
Well, you're right, Joe. The Clippers are 2 for 11 from three-point range, and against Milwaukee, they were very, very successful.
Shot clock down. David knows it. He'll have to go with the 16-footer. Been a tough night in that spot for David. He's got 20, though. Inside, he has been so strong. Rooks just inside the arc. That was a wedge shot. He didn't quit on it. Saved it, but Derek Anderson has it, and he's fouled by Maggette. Minute 54 to play. Derek Anderson hustling after he got it from Rooks. That'll be the second foul. Malik Rose coming back in as Derek Anderson will go to the free throw line. UPS number of the night, Spurs. Perfect 50% right now. They're to 39%. Trying to go to 22. Make it 23 and 15 on the road. 22 and 15 coming in as Derek Anderson puts him a step closer. Tim Duncan is through for the night. Sitting down with Rose back in. Pacific Palisades product coming in for the Spurs. 32, 18, and 6 for Tim Duncan. Another incredible night. Effort-wise, his numbers way beyond that. As Derek Anderson.
He's always steady every night. He gives you effort every night. Sometimes you get effort and you don't get the points, but the production, numbers-wise, but that's a rarity with him.
91-78, Spurs by 13. Strong. Got it despite the presence of David. And David hustling back into the play. So the Spurs will take a 20 to get Steve Kerr into the game with a minute 36 to play. And now it'll be a full. Digging pop in the background. We'll see if David Robinson will stick around as well. 11-point lead still for the Spurs. Middle game of the road trip.
Beer is like a natural food product. The fresher it is, the better it tastes. That's why Budweiser has 12 local breweries right here in the United States. So you know our beer will always be fresh.
This Bud's for you. And you. This Bud's for you.
It's fun coaching these little guys. We get together once a week, we run some drills, we talk a little strategy. They really work hard at practice. Come game day, they start out on fire. Halftime comes and they start getting a little hungry, a little unfocused. When that final whistle blows, we go straight to Whataburger.
No matter what size your appetite, you can enjoy our chicken strip Whatameals with your choice of 2 or 3 strips of chicken.
With these kids, it's not whether they win or lose, it's where they eat after the game.
Chicken strips at Whataburger, just like you like it.
Turns out to be a big one for the Spurs tonight, leading by 11 with 96 seconds left in the game. Our Whataburger Water Challenge. Tim Duncan dwarfing the rookie Darius Miles, who averages just about 10 a game. Tim 22 a game. He got 32, 18, and 6 tonight. Miles not a factor against the best power forward in the NBA. And I said it turned out to be a big one because Utah snapped their 2-game losing streak and won on the road at Dallas. 116 to 103, and Utah started the night 4 behind the Spurs in the loss column, and they were in danger of dropping behind Dallas in the Western Conference standings overall, Midwest Division as well. But instead, with the win, 2 teams identical at 49 and 26 now in the season.
Well, Joe, every team has its ups and downs during the year, and Utah has had 2 weeks of below par play for them. That was a big win on the road against a very good Dallas team.
Terry Porter with the shot clock down. Trying the 3-pointer. Final minute, 15 seconds. So Dallas finally slowed down. And we've got a hold inside with Miles running the baseline. They'll call it on Steve Kerr, who just checked in. If the playoffs did start this afternoon or this evening, Spurs would match up with the Timberwolves, Utah going up against Dallas, Sacramento, and Phoenix, and the Lakers, and the Portland Trailblazers. Portland at 6 right now, and they were only 2 up in the loss column over number 8, Minnesota, at the start of the play today.
Joe, Minnesota's another team that was in a little bit of a downtrend, and recently in the last 2 weeks they've come back. They had a hot stretch, and then they backed up, and then they're coming on again. But you know, Joel, 3 out of 5 is tough. But I remember 15, 20 years ago in the NBA, in these early series, it was best of 3. And you talk about
you lose at home, you're dead.
You talk about pressure. One bad game. You lose your first game at home in this season, for the most part, is over with.
Final minute of play. Sean L. Scott's ready to come in. Spurs just eating the clock. David Robinson for 3. Almost got it. So the Spurs go 32 games over the 500 mark as Malik Rose comes up with a rebound. The numbers continue to impress. 54 and 22, 23 and 15 on the road, 35 and 11 against Western Conference opponents.
And Darius Miles is hurt, Joe. He could not make it past the 10-second line. He may have a...
Boy, he's putting his hand down there to his heel.
Could be that, Joe, or it could be his shoulder. He may have gotten popped in the shoulder.
And yes, you're right. He put the arm up in the shoulder now. Hopefully nothing serious for Darius Miles. 25.7 to play.
When was the last time you took the family fishing? Now there's a place where you're guaranteed to have a great catch. It's the Luby's Family Fish Fest, where you can enjoy new delicious seafood entrees like zesty mango Caribbean catfish and plentiful Cajun shrimp etouffee, along with all those Luby's fish favorites you've always loved. It's just one more reason to come to Luby's. The Family Fish Fest is for a limited time only, so come into Luby's today. You'll get hooked.
Why don't you get us something to cool this fire down?
I got just the thing. I got 2 logs for that fire.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
That's not that bad.
Clippers' 5-game home winning streak is coming to an end as the winning ways on the road continue. The San Antonio Spurs will try to keep it up tomorrow night right here on UPN2 at Golden State. The arena in Oakland is the site. Join us tomorrow night at 8 o'clock back home in San Antonio on our Whataburger What's Coming Up Next. Then a busy week at home. Tuesday and Thursday games, Fox Sports Net, Dallas, Sacramento. And then take it a step further, another game at home at the Dome on Saturday night against the Denver Nuggets. What about what the Spurs have done on the road since that sluggish beginning away from home? 5-9 was the number that they had over their first 14. Over the last 24 away from home, Greg Popovich's squad, 18-6 over their last 24.
You know, Joe, they've come together, and you can see each week, each game, it seems as though that they're picking each other up. The pieces are falling together, and it's become a cohesive unit with great support off the bench.
9 points and 6 boards for Terry Porter after the free throws. Derek Strong trying a three-pointer. So the Spurs get ready for the Warriors. Going to be their second to last back-to-back set of the year. The final will come on the road. Portland and Seattle, the final 2 games of the regular season. Steve Kerr fittingly will bounce it out the Los Angeles native as Greg Popovich goes over to say hello to an old friend at the end of the night who is going to be an assistant for the Spurs, the Clippers head coach Alvin Gentry, who makes his home in San Antonio. But Tim Duncan the story, 32, 18, and 6, along with a couple of blocks as the Spurs dominated the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll come right back to the Staples Center. 10-point win.
Action. All right, everybody, time to move to the rhythm of the NBA. The Phoenix Suns have been making their playoff move, and so have Gary Payton and the Seattle Sonics. We'll look back on the career of the one and only Dr. J, Julius Erving. And as always, we'll bring you our top 10 plays of the week. The trailer. Tim Duncan with the left hand. What a play by Allen Iverson!
what I'm talking about. You can't believe that one, can you? Oh, baby, what a play!
Man, what a dunk by Tim Duncan.
Stoudemire. Oh, David Stoudemire. Woo! Showtime. Oh, my. Unbelievable. Oh, what a magnificent play. Triller, put that on the highlight reel right now. If you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
We tip things off by taking you into the action in the West with the Pacific Division's red-hot Phoenix Suns. Lately, there's been a fire in the eyes and in the game of Suns point guard Jason Kidd as he's led his team on a 7-game winning streak.
Jason will take it and hit it.
In addition to the game-high 29 points he tallied in a win over the Cavs, Kidd also came away with 4 steals. It's this kind of all-around effort that most impresses Kidd's coach Scott Skiles.
It can be tricky because he gives up so much energy on the defensive end, and now he also has the ball in his hands, and you're asking him to run pick and rolls and make decisions and make plays, but that's what the great players do, and he's certainly a great player.
And he proved it once again when the Suns took on Houston, as Jason Kidd finished with a career-high 43 points in leading his team to a 90-85 victory over the Rockets.
Oh, man, is he hot. That's going to be Kidd's all the way. He's going to fire up a 3. Oh, goodness! He hits it. Way he hits again. Jason Kidd, an unbelievable show. Jason Kidd, are you kidding me? Wow!
No, he wasn't kidding. It was the kind of performance his Phoenix teammates have come to expect from Kidd, and the kind that he demands from himself.
If you have a chance to do something great, and when I say great, win a championship, you should thrive in that situation, and I enjoy being in that situation.
Against the Central Division leading Milwaukee Bucks, Kidd scored 30 in another all-out, non-stop effort. And his 12 assists found his teammates in their most comfortable spots on the floor.
Marion and Rogers. Yeah, some big hoops.
Sean Marion had 17 points. Rodney Rogers added 16. But Jason Kidd stole the show.
Captain Kidd's in the zone. No whistle, and Kidd is able to score it and allowed to score it. Now they're putting the hammer down. That's it.
The Suns' all-star point guard led them to a 106-99 win as Phoenix readies themselves for a run in the postseason. Now we take you back into the action as we continue in the Western Conference with those surging Seattle Sonics. Why does Seattle head coach Nate McMillan look so serious? Because Gary Payton and the Sonics are in serious danger of not making the playoffs.
Garnett down deep, one dribble across the middle. Baker makes it tough, but not tough enough. He fouls him.
It was a must-win situation for Patrick Ewing and the Sonics against the Timberwolves. So the veteran, like so many times before, decided to take matters into his own hands.
Touch pass in low to Ewing. Backs, turns, Drew Garnett off his feet and leads it up and in. What a move by Patrick Ewing.
Not only did he score 19 points, but Patrick Ewing was a force on the defensive end as he shut down the Timberwolves.
Shot rejected by Ewing, grabbed by Bones. Wrap around to Payton, 3-on-2 to Mason. He climbs into the air for the two-hand jam.
But the Minnesota Timberwolves are fighting to keep the playoff spot that the Sonics want, and they wouldn't back down. But Ruben Patterson came off the Sonics bench to make 7 of his 11 shots from the field and 5 of 8 from the line to contribute 19 points to the Sonics' cause.
Inside to Patterson, turnaround jumper's good.
With a 1-point lead and seconds remaining, the Sonics gathered themselves. Kevin Garnett would have one more chance, but Patterson made the stop on the big ticket.
Garnett steps by him, shot blocked by Patterson, recovered by Ewing, and Ruben Patterson blocks another shot down the stretch. He's come up with an incredible block tonight on Kevin Garnett.
We executed a lot. We ran the ball, we got it out of the, out of the net, and we executed. I think the execution was great.
We definitely feel that we're as good a team as they are, and we just came out and played well tonight.
2 nights later, Gary Payton's 28 points led to a Sonics win over the Los Angeles Clippers. And after that victory, the Sonics got together in the locker room to watch the critical Western Conference matchup between the Timberwolves and the Kings. Taking a look at the NBA.com Western Conference playoff picture, if the playoffs began today, the leader of the Midwest Division, the Spurs, would have the top spot and play the Timberwolves. The Pacific Division leading Kings would have the second spot and take on the Suns. The Jazz would play the Trailblazers, and the Lakers would take on the Mavericks. Time to log on to NBA.com, beginning with an emotional evening for one of the NBA's all-time greats, Charles Barkley. Sir Charles had to hold back the tears as his number 34 was retired by the 76ers.
This is one of the greatest nights of my life, and I'm honored to share it with you guys.
Barkley, who thrilled Philadelphia fans for 8 seasons, is only the 7th Sixer ever to have his number retired.
I really can't tell you what tonight means to me because words do not do it justice. And if I'm fortunate and blessed enough to go in the Hall of Fame, it will be as a Sixer.
In other news, history was made last week when the Dallas Mavericks signed Wang Zhuzhu of China.
I think everybody here understands that this is more than just a basketball player going to the NBA. My opinion is Wang Zhuzhu is synonymous and represents the spirit of China.
Drafted in 1999 by the Mavericks, this week, Zhuzhu will become the first Chinese player ever to compete in an NBA game. Elsewhere, 6-time All-Star Adrian Dantley topped the list of Hall of Fame nominees announced last week. Also nominated was Moses Malone, who led the Sixers to the 1983 NBA championship, and James Worthy, who won 3 titles with the Lakers.
Worthy pivots, comes underneath, reverse layup, good! Boom!
Paul Pierce became the first Celtic since Larry Bird to be named the NBA Player of the Month. The forward averaged over 30 points a game in March, leading Boston's late-season playoff run.
Here's Pierce, off the window, tip, no, Pierce again, yes. Pierce has been unstoppable.
Whoa! I mean, he's got the package.
And for the second month in a row, the Magic's Mike Miller was named the Schick Rookie of the Month. Only this time, he'll share the award with the Nets' Kenyon Martin, who also won it back in November.
Mike Miller, bumped by Nash, no call, he scored. Martin slams for 2.
The IBM Coach of the Month is the San Antonio Spurs' Greg Popovich. He guided the Spurs to an NBA best 14-3 record in March, placing them firmly atop the standings in the Midwest Division.
Final 3 seconds, Avery on the run. Antonio Daniels lays it in, he draws a foul.
Finally, the Phoenix Suns' Jason Kidd was named the NBA Player of the Week. He averaged 31 points a game, leading his club to a 4-0 record as they raced towards the playoffs.
Jason Kidd on the drive, all the way to the hoop, scoring. Oh, man, is he hot. Jason Kidd, are you kidding me?
On Fox Sports Net. Now we take you back into the action with the East-West clash between the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks. All the signs for a great game were there. A trip to the West Coast for the New York Knicks. Glenn Rice was ready for some two-fisted action as he made his first return to L.A. since he was traded to New York. But the question was, how would Kobe Bryant fare in his first game back from an ankle injury?
That's something that we're just going to have to find out today. See how it feels, go out there, mix it up a little bit and see where we are.
But he ended up on the bench, leaving the game for good late in the first quarter after struggling. But Shaq was there to pick up the slack, and it looked as if New York had no answer for his powerful attack.
Shaquille O'Neal able to power his way.
Great catches it underneath the basket, and New York was swarming him. You're not going to stop him down there. You have no chance.
A facial delivered by Shaq.
There's no plan for him, for us. We got 6'5", 6'6" guys, 6'7" guys, a 6'11" center who's, 150 pounds lighter than him. There's no good plan for that. But you know what? If you compete, you'll be fine.
And that simple formula worked like a charm for the Knicks. They denied Shaq the ball and played their trademark hustling defense, throwing themselves all over the floor, diving for every loose ball, to the delight of their feisty coach. And in spite of his 150-pound disadvantage, Marcus Camby held his own with Shaq, finishing with a team-high 20 points.
5:25. Oh, beautiful backdoor pass for Camby on the rejection. It's Camby. Set up beautifully by Sprewell.
As the battle waged on, the Knicks kept on fighting. And for his part, Marcus Camby kept on scoring. He had 7 in the fourth quarter.
Camby off the front. Yes, and the foul.
Coach Van Gundy liked what he saw. But Phil Jackson got his NBA champions together, and they responded. Brian Shaw forced a turnover, and his resulting layup cut the New York lead to 1.
Here's Shaw taking it to the rim. It's a one-point game.
There was little doubt on the New York bench about who would get the ball to win it in regulation. Shaq had the same idea, but he never got the basketball.
5.6 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks with a one-point lead. Here's Fisher taking the shot. And the Knicks have come away with an unlikely victory here in Los Angeles when you consider the problems that they've had on this Western swing.
The win gave the Knicks their first regular season sweep of the Lakers in 6 years. As Shaq headed to the locker room alone, the Knicks huddled together, celebrating a victory that came from a total team effort. Now here's a look at the NBA.com Eastern Conference playoff picture. If the playoffs began today, the 76ers, leaders of the Atlantic Division, would have the top spot and play either the Pacers or the Celtics, who are tied for the 8th playoff position. The Central leading Bucks would have the 2nd spot and play the Magic. The Knicks would play the Raptors, the Heat would play the Hornets. NBA action. Now it's time to grab a front row seat as the NBA's top performers take center stage in NBA Theater. Okay, kids, now keep your chin up, please. There's no need to throw a tantrum. You gotta go with the flow in NBA Theater. Just like these stars.
Wesley had it poked away by Derek Anderson. Terry Porter behind the back. Derek Anderson with the finish.
Antoine Walker spins in. Look at the duck-in pass. The behind the back to Tony Kukoc.
What's that? You say you're in a tight spot about to lose your head? How do you think these guys feel?
Can he come up with it? Yes.
Oh, yeah, and here's a couple of heads-up plays.
High ball allowed the crowd back to Rush. Go to the hoop. Slam back and missed it.
You know, these guys should have quit while they were ahead.
They're going to have to catch and shoot. Harpreet inside. Oh, man, that's a break for the Suns. And has he upset it himself?
Oh, yes, that must be a tough burden to carry. But enough with the kid stuff. Time to flex some muscle as we close out this week's theater with a bang.
McGrady slams it back. Here's Kukoc spinning. What a move, but rejected by O'Neal.
Nice wraparound pass. Brilliant. Outside jumper for three. Dion pushing it.
Off to Lorenzen right for the slam.
Yeah, now your head's back in place, and you're all facing the right direction. Until we meet again in next week's theater, see ya. Now we take a look back at a man who revolutionized the game of basketball. Julius Erving in this week's Time Out.
I looked up to Julius Erving, Dr. J. I thought he was not only a great player, but also a wonderful human being.
You know, growing up, I really liked Dr. J. I mean, the things he did on the court, especially above the rim, as a kid, just made you keep your mouth open in awe.
In 1971, Julius Erving left the University of Massachusetts and signed on with the Virginia Squires of the ABA. Erving gave the new league a new identity and a dynamic young superstar.
A player with that much ability and talent, I mean, in the ABA was just really astonishing to see.
And there is Julius Erving. Look at that move behind the back. Oh!
It wasn't Julius Erving, it was Dr. J, which meant when he got on the floor, on the court, he operated on guys.
Right down the lane, all the way, layup good.
it probably was getting a glimpse of the game in the 90s and the 70s. So, you know, my game was probably a little bit ahead of its time.
He was, in the ABA, the symbol of the league.
Driving to the lane, up into the air. The shot looks good. It is.
He wasn't just its biggest star. He was the lead to those outside the ABA. He gave his team credibility. He gave the league credibility and an identity.
And that sends everyone reeling. Julius Erving.
In 1976, 4 teams from the ABA joined the NBA. And after 3 years with the then New York Nets, Dr. J was acquired by the Philadelphia 76ers.
I'm no longer a New York Net, I'm a Philadelphia 76er, and, you know, everyone else as well as myself might as well get used to it.
The whole town was going crazy. We're getting the doctor. We're getting the doctor. All of Philadelphia was going crazy. Little kids on the playground, even in church, they was talking about it.
When Doc came, that like almost knocked me off, knocked me off my blocks. You got Doc, the doctor. Now this is the playground legend.
Without question, without any doubt, the absolute greatest forward that has ever put on a pair of basketball shoes.
From the University of Massachusetts, number 6, captain of the Philadelphia 76ers, Julius the Doctor Erving.
And Erving electrified the NBA with his aerial acrobatics and thunderous slam dunks. Crowds throughout the league were simply amazed, watching a style they'd never seen before.
Fans were rooting for Dr. J, but rooting for their team. And as long as they saw the doctor perform and do something spectacular, they went home happy.
Here he comes. Way rock the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
I think taking the ball to the hoop and dunking the basketball, particularly against bigger opponents, was an expression of sorts.
Look out.
But for all of his signature dunks, it was a different kind of play that created his most unforgettable moment. In the 1980 finals against the LA Lakers, Erving did the seemingly impossible, and even those who witnessed it still couldn't believe it.
He had cut him off, and there was nowhere for him to go but out of bounds. So he jumped in the air out of bounds. And he floating, and he spun it real high off the top of the glass.
Julius Erving hit it hanging underneath. He was trapped, and he still got the field goal.
My mouth was like, and I looked at Coop. He looked at me, and I said to him, Coop, you think we should maybe ask him to do it again?
Throughout his career, Julius Erving stretched the game's creative limits and captured the attention of fans everywhere. But what made him so popular wasn't just his high-flying style of play. It was also his down-to-earth personality. Carrying himself with an air of grace and dignity, Erving became the ambassador of basketball in the 1970s.
Julius not only had the great skills, but he had a great aura of being a gentleman, of being a diplomat, of being almost a saint.
He had personality, and he had the kind of personality that would catch your eye. I kind of learned the small things from Julius, and, they wind up being big parts of my life, keeping my humility and always thinking about somebody else. So I feel good to know the doctor.
Welcome back to NBA action. All right, time now for the top 10 plays of the week in our courtside countdown. At 10, it's the Lakers' Shaquille O'Neal.
Slam dunk. That was a great play. Bradley says, I know I heard him go by, but I didn't see
Kobe jump off the bench?
At 9, it's Moochie with the alley and Steve with the oop for the Rockets. At 8, Jerry Stackhouse brings down the house.
Gets inside him on the drive, and a windmill jam. Wow, did he throw that baby down? Unbelievable. That's the dunk of the night.
At number 7, get ready as Air Canada takes off.
Vince Carter gets it again. Skies uses the glove, and it's good.
And the Houston Rockets' Steve Francis gets back in the mix at number 6.
Francis all the way for the slam.
Coming in at number 5, here's the Cleveland Cavaliers' Lamont Murray.
Murray the other way. What a play by Lamont Murray going around his back here to avoid the first defense. Look at this. He kind of keeps it close to him, but certainly the contact keeps Spaghetti from blocking the shot.
Yeah, and here's some more at number 4. It's the Bulls' Ron Artest.
Ronnie drives inside, throws it up with the left hand. How about that for a pretty move? That wasn't what he designed, but it still went in.
Watch him when he sees Morning.
Whoa!
At number 3, here's Marcus Fizer's 3. It doesn't count, but it's sure fun to watch.
That shot won't count by Pfizer. He swished it. He swished it, but it won't count. Man, that was a 60-footer. I tell you what, that almost tore the net out.
Coming in at number 2, it's the Suns' Jason Kidd.
Jason will come back the other way. Goes in traffic, gets hammered, and let him go. That was a heck of an effort. Kidd was knocked sideways and still got the shot to drop.
That could be on the highlight film.
And the number 1 play of the week, it's the Hawks' Jason Terry.
Stripped by Terry. JT at the buzzer. From midcourt, a three. Man. Bill Palacio thought he was going to take a three from midcourt, and it turns out to be Jason Terry instead.
That's our show for this week. And remember, to cast your vote on the proposed NBA rule changes, log on to the league's official website, NBA.com. I'm Jim Fagan for NBA Action. See you next week.